Hey, this is David Perdue from MyNAMS.com and Novice to Advanced Marketing System, and this is the Insiders Club. What is today? The 19th of January, 2015. Hard to say 2015, but I'm getting used to it. So I'll probably have 2015 down probably by June. That's about when I usually get 2015 nailed in my check writing and all that stuff. So I'm glad you guys are here. I've been gone for a week. This is a special Monday edition of the Insiders Club Hangout because we were gone last week for a conference in Palm Springs, and I got to tell you, Palm Springs is awesome. I was really blown away. First time I've ever been to Palm Springs. It was 75 degrees. It was blue skies, beautiful mountains, unbelievable desert all around. It was nice people. I really enjoyed it. Plus, we went to a great conference. We went to the, it was called the New Year's Kickoff Conference for the Isogenics Corporation, and that's a company that I'm involved with in the nutritional products, and I'm really loving that, and the conference was great too. So we'll talk more about that at some point. In fact, maybe I can tell you more about what we learned at that conference in a later Q&A, but we will do that in the next week or two. We have a Q&A this Friday coming up, and then we have a week off again because next week I'm on the Marketers Cruise. January is a rough month for us for travel. And we're on the Marketers Cruise for all next week with a bunch of Namsters and a bunch of non-Namsters at sea, going to some awesome places like Cozumel and let's see, Belize, Cayman Islands, and one other one, Honduras, I think. It's going to be a lot of fun. Sarah, you're going on that too, aren't you?
I am going. It's my very first one. I'm super excited.
Good, good. I'm glad you're going.
It's Honduras.
Yeah. So it's also my wife's very first one. She's coming along with me on this one. I'm really excited about that. So we have kind of adopted a new approach to our, well, not kind of, we have definitely adopted a new approach to our weekly Q&A, and what we're trying to do is really showcase our insiders and their knowledge, because insiders bring a lot to the table. These insiders are serious folks. They got some skills, right? And so we want them to share their skills with you as well. Now, this is not like our weekly live training where somebody comes in and does a presentation and really does something more formal. The Insiders Club is more about doing 30 to 45 minutes of demonstration, questions, conversation about a specific topic. And today we're going to talk to Sarah Davidson about Instagram marketing. Sarah is an Instagram expert. So, Sarah, I'm glad you're here. Thanks for doing this.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm excited to be here. Excited to talk about Instagram, too.
Yeah, you do. You do. So why don't you just start us off with the basics. Tell us about Instagram, what it is. I think Google owns it now, right? Didn't they just buy it for $1 billion?
Facebook owns Instagram. So yeah, and that's what's really cool about Instagram is that since Facebook bought them, it's been growing like crazy.
Right.
So it's the fastest growing social media platform. It had 200 million users last March, and by December of 2014, the same year, it had 300 million users. So, and basically, yeah, 50% growth rate. And Facebook is forecasting 1 billion users within 3 years for Instagram. So it's growing like crazy. I have to admit, I used to think that it was just a place for teenagers and selfies and cat photos and this kind of thing. And it used to be, right? And it also is very deeply rooted in photography. There's a lot of photographers that have gotten their start on Instagram. It's just a visual platform, but it's got some things that are pretty unique to it from the other social media platforms because it's really only a mobile app. It's made to be used from a mobile device and not from the desktop. So that's what's a little bit different about Instagram, but it's very social. The audience is growing like crazy, and more people are getting on Instagram, and businesses are having great success because the audience is getting more and more diverse as it grows really quickly.
But that's actually the same way Facebook grew, right? Facebook was cat photos and college students when it first started.
Exactly, so, you're right.
Yeah. So now Facebook is a serious business tool. In fact, it's probably the most serious business tool out there, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, so Instagram fits right in with that. So tell us, if we look at Instagram as a platform for marketing your business, I'm assuming that you don't want to plaster pictures all over Instagram that are just business related. Do you want to have a good mix? How do you do it?
Oh yeah. So I like to look at the content on Instagram as being just like other social media content. Most of your content should be something that's really helpful and useful, interesting or funny to your audience. So it's really important whenever you start any kind of social media account or promoting your business on social media that you think about the people that you're trying to reach and what do they care about. What's in it for me? It's what's in it for your audience, not what's in it for you. So I always say try to do something like the 80-20 rule. 80% of content should be valuable, interesting, funny. So it depends on your business, and you want to have some of your personality in it, just like you would do even with your Facebook fan page. A lot of times you'll see personalities, even if big companies are starting to put personalities of their employees actually
Right,
onto the social media, and
right.
so kind of establishing that personal relationship with people. So Instagram, because it's only visual content, you can't put just a text post on Instagram. So you have to put a picture or a video up to 15 seconds long are the only two formats.
So a
But
video can't be longer than 15 seconds?
that's right. So short little videos. But what's nice is you get a nice big juicy description. So you can write quite a bit of text in the description. You're not limited with Twitter like to that 140 characters, which for me always feels like it's a bunch of pressure, right? I have to say
Sure.
something like super smart and witty, and I only have this many characters, and I don't
And I
know.
want a link in there too, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Twitter kind of, and Twitter moves so fast. Like the volume is just crazy, right? And you have to post all the time. And I mean, when you talk to Twitter experts, they're telling you, some of them are posting 20, 50, and more times a day. I mean, you just have to keep the constant content flowing out there on Twitter because your message just goes away so quickly. There's just so much content there.
Right.
And even Facebook. So I started. I have this project that you know about. I was working with Kathy Demers on a expert interview series, and I know that Brad, who was on here before, also worked on with Kathy, and she has fantastic programs. But anyway, I really started promoting it via social media when I lost my job very suddenly a few months ago. And I found that exactly the same as some of the businesses that I had been coaching and doing social media for, Instagram, it's just so much easier to get traction and it's so much easier to get results with less effort. So even Facebook, I mean, I've been posting to my Facebook account, my fan page, probably 4 times a day on average. I mean, very consistently for months. And I haven't, and I even did some advertising. So I know David talked a little bit about the Facebook
Right.
advertising. When I first put the account up there, of course, I invited my friends to my business page, and I did a little bit of advertising just to try to get, I wanted it not to look empty when people
Right.
showed up there on my fan page. And I still haven't cracked 400 followers. And in the same amount of time, with way less effort on Instagram, I have over 700 followers, and
Sure.
they're targeted followers. That's what I love about it. And sometimes with Facebook, because as you know, the organic reach is, the way they've changed all the algorithms, you can put great content out there and you look at your fan page numbers, it's like 5 people saw this post and it's so
Right.
depressing.
Right.
And you ask questions and you're trying to get engagement and nobody answers, because nobody's even seeing it.
Right.
So Facebook is really frustrating, and as more and more people are finding out, you do have to kind of pay to play on Facebook.
So
So
can you link your Facebook and your Instagram accounts so that they work together though?
oh, yeah, absolutely. That's one of the first things you should do. If you have a Facebook fan page, you can link up your Instagram and you can actually have an Instagram tab right on your Facebook fan page. And what's really nice, and another thing that I love about Instagram is I'm sure you know, and a lot of people here know, that creating images for social media is so much more impactful. So even
Yeah.
if you're making a Facebook post, it's a really good idea to create a little image, a little social media image, and then post that on Facebook and because the images just grab people's attention and they can
Right.
relate to it. And so what's really cool about Instagram is that you can go create your little social media image, and Instagram is a square, is the shape of the image on Instagram.
Yeah, I hate that. As a photographer, I hate that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of its own art because there's photographers that really have gotten into Instagram and they just take that square format to heart, right? So,
Right.
if you're using the camera on the iPhone or on your mobile device and either the regular camera or the Instagram camera, you can see the grid marks, and compose your picture around those. So it's kind of an art to do that,
Sure.
square photographs well. So anyway, you can create your little social media image, you can put it on Instagram, and then you link up your Facebook and your Twitter and even your Tumblr and Foursquare if you want. And whenever you post your picture on Instagram, you just click the buttons, Facebook and Twitter, and boom, it automatically posts on Facebook and Twitter. And it's a beautiful image. It looks really nice on Facebook. So for me, it's a way of getting, more bang for your buck, right? So you can actually post to several accounts at once with one really nice image on Instagram.
Okay,
And
I'm looking to see if I even have Instagram on my phone these days. I don't think I actually realized that Instagram was just a mobile app.
it's just a mobile app. So that's one of the limitations. So there's a lot of advantages to using Instagram, and I've talked a little bit about, you can use it as a source of content if you create your image there. But one of the limitations is that it's very difficult there's some desktop apps that can make managing your Instagram easier, but you have to actually post from your device, from a mobile device. And so even if you use one of the scheduling apps, what you do is you set your picture up and you can write your description and paste everything in on the desktop,
Yep.
and then you tell what time you want it to post, and then it will actually at that time send an alert to your phone that'll open up Instagram, and then you just hit the button, post. So because Instagram, this is another interesting thing, is that Facebook learned a lot of hard lessons, over the years in terms of spam and businesses and promotional content.
Right.
Instagram is super strict about their what's called the API, or the connection to other applications. So they don't allow a lot of that automation that you have with other social media accounts, because it's the way for spammers to get in, right? They'll just post tons of content and do automatically, and the bots and things. So the limitations are pretty strict right now with Instagram. Facebook is doing a really nice job of keeping the content very clean and pure, and I think that's one of the advantages of getting into Instagram now, is because the businesses are really, there's brands doing amazingly well, but it's not so promotional as Facebook, right? It's like people are looking for interesting content and they're engaging with you, and you can put some promotional content, like you were saying before, just to have a nice mix. But people really engage with you very easily on Instagram.
So if I'm a business owner though, and
Mm-hmm.
I want to do promotion on Instagram,
Yep.
I guess it's like Twitter and everything else, that if you do too much, somebody's not going to pay any attention, right? So I
Exactly.
guess
Yep.
you have to be really subtle about your promotion. By the way, I'm going to hold up my phone here and show people what I'm looking at.
Oh,
And I know that this is kind of difficult to see, but here is Sarah's Spark Your
there we
Profits,
are. There we are.
right? So I just went to and I'm not following her, so I click follow, and you'll show up in my Instagram feed just like I would in Facebook, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
Okay.
And the Instagram feed is it's really nice. If you see, this is just can you see that if I'm holding up my phone now?
Hold
It's
on.
a very visual feed. So you just mostly see people's square pictures, and then you just get a little bit of the text of their description. So when you're writing a description on a post, you want to make sure that first couple lines tells what's most important about your picture, because people will you'll see teenagers, they'll just be scrolling through their phone like this, glued to their phone, flipping
Right.
through. So you want to create some images that are going to kind of grab people's attention. So it's nice to think about doing something, visually unusual, or having some interesting colors. But the great thing about Instagram, like I said before, you don't have to post very often. It's really quality over quantity. I only recommend posting maybe once or twice a day, and maybe up to 3 or 4 if you're in a period where you're really trying to actively grow your account.
Mm-hmm.
But what you don't want to do on Instagram is post a bunch of pictures at once. So that's one of the things that people will quickly unfollow you for. If you don't want to go to an event and take a bunch of pictures and just keep posting them the way you would on Facebook. Here's me with this guy and here's me with this guy. If you put a bunch of pictures up there at once, people don't like that on Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
And why is that?
I think it's just a matter of the culture. You have to understand every social media platform has its own culture, right, in terms of do's and don'ts and what people are used to. And it's just not done. People, if you want to post 3 or 4 times a day, you should spread your content out during the day at different times. And
So
I
I'm
recommend
also
doing
assuming
that.
you can't schedule your post on Instagram. Is that right?
You can't do it with the Instagram app itself. There's some third-party apps that will let you schedule. I think Latergram is one that will let you schedule. I think it's free up to 30 images per month or 30 posts per month.
Okay.
So you can schedule it and post it, but what happens is it still has to go through your mobile device. So you link it up to your Instagram account, and it will, let's say I scheduled my post for 6 p.m. today, I'll get a little notice on my phone that says at 6 p.m., and I just click on that, and it automatically opens up my Instagram account, automatically puts all that content in that I created earlier, and I just have to hit one button.
So it's semi-automatic. It's not automatic.
Exactly. Semi-automatic is the perfect.
Okay. So let's see now. Let's assume that we have people here who are familiar with Pinterest, but not Instagram. What's the difference?
So Instagram is, first of all, the images we talked about are square. So Pinterest images, what works really well are those longer images, more like infographics. So you want to always work with a square image on Instagram. Instagram is a little bit more like Facebook in the sense that it has a news feed. So it's Pinterest. Things kind of live on these boards, and they kind of have this long life where they might get all of a sudden passed around to some other board. So Instagram is a little bit more like a feed. But what I like about it is your content has a longer life than Facebook and Twitter, because things, I'll notice I'll get a bunch of likes on my pictures, and then sometimes days later somebody will go in and check out my account, and exactly as you were showing, when you see somebody's account. And one of the great strategies on Instagram to be able to connect with people that you're trying to target in your target audience is to actually start following some of the people that you're targeting, or looking for content that's related to your content and commenting and liking on those photos. And so what happens if people see you liking their photos and commenting on their photos, they will check out your bio. And that's exactly what you had shown. They'll see your picture and this little short bio description, and then they'll see all your photos. They can scroll down. So they'll take one quick look right at that, and they're going to make their decision, am I going to follow this person or not? So it's important to set up your bio so that you give people a little bit of sense of what your business is and what your personality is, and why they should follow you. What value or what information are they going to get from following you? So, when you make a post on Instagram, I would say it's a little bit more like Facebook than Pinterest in that sense, because you just have this news feed, and people will just see, if they're following you, they'll just see your pictures in their news feed.
Okay.
And it's very common.
So basically what you're saying, and I just did this, is when you're scrolling down and you're seeing pictures, and you see pictures in the news feed that you like, you just click the name of the person or the user, right? And you see their what are you calling a profile?
Profile, yeah. So you'll see their profile image. So I just clicked on somebody's that I'm following, and so this is a woman that has an Etsy store, and she's promoting, her account is about her Etsy store. So her profile says, wife, mother, designer, artist, teacher, adorner, and she has a link to her Etsy shop right there. So the other really interesting and kind of interesting limitation, I would say, to Instagram right now is you can only have one clickable link on Instagram anywhere, and that's right here in your profile. So when
how
you
do you
post
doctor
an
up that
image,
profile?
mm-hmm,
I guess that profile has to be really doctored up then as your business tool, right?
absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You got
So
any
I
tips
would
about doing that?
setting up the profile.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me just show you if I can. I'll share my screen quickly here, and I'll kind of show people how this works with a. Sorry, let me click here. What the profile looks like up close. I think it'll be more helpful. Because that's really what I think the profile is one of the most important things that you have to get right on Instagram. Can you see that anatomy of a profile?
You can.
Okay, so the one thing you want to do is at the top you'll see the username, and it's an @ symbol followed by the username is the way you indicate somebody's user. So it's just like Twitter in that sense. And if you have a Twitter account for your business, I would recommend trying to get exactly the same username as your Twitter account if it's available. And even if you don't want to get on Instagram right away, I would try to go ahead and grab your username if it's available for the future. And so if you use the exact same username, then when somebody shares their Instagram post to Twitter, your username is going to follow through and people can connect with you on Twitter that way. So it's kind of
Okay.
cool.
That makes a
So
lot of sense.
yeah, so even if you don't think you're going to use Instagram today, just try to grab your username while it's still available. So you can see here the name of this account is Another Touch Massage. So you can go in and you can change your name. You can put your business name or you can put your own personal name. And in the circle up above where it says Another Touch Massage, you see they have a logo as their profile picture.
Mm-hmm.
So this depends. I would recommend if what your business is very personal and very much you are the face of your business, then I would recommend using your picture here on Instagram for your profile picture. But
I would expect that would increase your follows if you did that, so that people thought you were doing that you were a person, not a business.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it helps. So if you're the face of the business, I would put your picture here for sure. And if you have a business that's has a logo, or let's say you have multiple different niches and you're not very involved in the business, or you're not really the face of the business, then you can use a logo. That's okay. But I do recommend a personal photo because it's a social network, so people want to connect with people there. So then you get a short description underneath that, and that's where it says bio, and there's a description here. And so again, what's really important here is you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and your business so they get to know you, and you want to give them a reason to follow you if you can. So, why would I want to follow this account? And so think about what people, if they see this, so if you're promoting, let's say, for example, you're doing the Kindle Challenge, but you already have a business that's focused around personal development, and you're going to share some personal development tips, you might put a description here that says, follow me for personal development tips, or something like that, so that people give people a reason to follow you. And if you're a local business, you want to make sure to put your contact information in there. So this happens to be a local business, and you can see they put their locations and the telephone numbers. So however you want people to contact you, you can put your email address even in the description if that's the best.
So I expect that it's probably the more straightforward you are about with something like follow me to get is probably really good, right?
Absolutely, and that's really, it's kind of the same as all the social media, is you have to have a call to action. You have to tell people what to do and why, right? So if you just put in something in there, follow me, and you're going to get information on this. So I noticed there's some folks in the Kindle Challenge that have books about New Orleans or about Washington, D.C. So if you have a book coming out on that, you might, in your account, have something like, follow me for, great things to do in Washington, D.C. Something related to the audience that you're trying to attract, that's going to attract that audience.
Okay, so that brings me to another question. Um, if you have multiple books or multiple businesses or multiple streams of income, do you can you have multiple Instagram accounts?
You can have, yes, you can definitely have multiple Instagram accounts. I will tell you that it's a little bit more complicated to manage them because, again, you have to go into Instagram app to post your content. So you have to go in and log out of one account and log into the other.
Okay.
So my recommendation would be, for people that are starting out, you would definitely want to have a separate account for your business unless you're somebody, well, I think even David mentioned on Facebook, you can't really promote a business as your personal account. There's no rules like that on Instagram, but I think it's better to have a business account, even if it is a very personal business, so that you can keep that content. The key really is to keep your content relevant to the people that would be following you. And so if you mix up, you have to think about the people that are following you. If they want to see your personal information, they want to see your cat pictures and your kids, then that's great. It might work well for you to have just one account that's personal and business together. So kind of think about how you do it on your other social media. If on Facebook you really just are doing one account, that might be okay. I would recommend having one Instagram account for every unique niche or audience that you have. So let's say you're an author and you're writing, you have some books on personal development, and then you have some books on New Orleans culture. So the content is going to be completely different for the people that are going to be following that. And if you start mixing up the content on your account, that's another way people are going to leave right away. So you want to make sure that your Instagram account is giving really nice content that's valuable and interesting for that one audience group. And that's how you're going to have the most success. So but if you're just starting out, I wouldn't open up like 6 different Instagram accounts and then try to manage them all. I would start, with one and move on from there.
So Tim is asking, can you message people on Instagram?
Yeah, you can actually send direct messages. And what's kind of interesting about it is that it has to be a picture or a video. So you can't just send them a text message. But the other thing that I love about Instagram is it's really easy to connect with people, even people that are kind of hard to reach because they're very well known. They don't have so many followers on Instagram usually, and they're interacting more with Instagram. So people take notice when you connect with them, either commenting on their posts or sending them direct messages on Instagram. It's a really neat way to grab people's attention. So let's say you're trying to partner up with somebody, and another great strategy on Instagram is to find some other businesses that have a similar audience to you. Like if you're a local business, there might be other local businesses, and you can, what they call a shout out, you can promote somebody else's content on your account. So if you want to reach out to potential business partners or potential strategic partners or JV partners, using Instagram and that direct messaging feature is a really cool way to do it. So you could even just record a short video and say, hey, this is Sarah, I'd love to connect with you about this, and just make it really personal and interesting for them.
So you basically have the same, just like on Facebook, you have the same options with like and post, or like and comment, right?
Yep. And when you're going through your news feed, what you do to like something, it's really easy. It's called a double tap. You just tap twice and you'll see the heart comes up. And so that's why it's really easy to tap, just double tap and like photos as you're going through. It's a little bit more effort to hit the comment button and leave a comment. So I always, I think with social media, it's the same with different platforms. If you really want to get somebody's attention, you want to engage with them at a higher level. So liking their photo is like the easiest thing to do. It's like the lowest level of engagement. If you make a comment on their photo, they're much more likely to notice you. What's also interesting is, I recommend if you're starting out to maybe pick about 10 accounts, 10 other businesses that would either be competitors to you or complementary businesses that would have a similar audience, and just
Mm-hmm.
start following their accounts. And so when you follow their accounts, you can make comments on their pictures and their videos, and their audience is going to see you. And if they think your comments are interesting, they might come check your profile out. So it's a way to start to interact very directly with a very targeted audience. And that's what I love about Instagram. It's the same like Facebook. You don't ever want to buy likes. And Instagram actually just shut down a ton of spammy accounts, and a bunch of people lost all kinds of followers because they had bought all these likes. It's not valuable at all on social media to buy followers and buy likes and that kind of
Right,
thing.
it's
Because
game
you're
in the
not,
system. That's the
yeah,
last
it's
thing we teach is game in the system.
exactly. And really, I would rather have 100 people that are in my target audience that want to buy the kinds of products and services that I sell than 5,000 people that don't care about me at all, right?
Right.
It doesn't help. So it's really, even with a very small Instagram account, I think what's really nice is you'll start to see results very quickly if you can get on the platform, make one post a day, maybe two if you have time when you're starting out, and start to comment and like other people's photos. And just, once you follow those 10 top accounts in your niche, look what they're doing. The other really important thing is that hashtags are how people find content and browse content on Instagram. So it's
Same as Twitter, right?
very much the same as Twitter. Except what's cool is you can use up to 30 different hashtags. So again, you're not stuck trying to think of like, okay, I've only got 140 characters. I have to come up with the perfect hashtag. Oh, that one's too long. So there's no limitation. I think you can have 2,200 characters in your description, which is plenty of space.
So let
But
me
I
show
would
you just one thing real quickly here. This is Crystal Collins, one of our Namster folks, and as you see here, that's just a picture of a jar of something that she's telling people about. And I haven't read this, so I don't know. But look at the description. It's a full screen of description
yeah.
and
You can,
hashtags. I
yep.
mean, that's a ton of material.
Yeah, that's what I like about it. You have enough space to really get into some depth there in your description. So it's a lot more space than you get with Twitter. And I don't know what her business is, but that was a picture of like a jar of jam.
Or juice
So
or something.
or juice, yeah. So here's just an idea for people that are trying to post content on Instagram and you're not familiar with it, is you want to show, when we talked before about not being too promotional, you can still show interesting pictures of your products or things that are related to what you're selling and your services. So
Right.
if she's like into fitness and nutrition and this is a juice, and she has some juice cleanses, take pictures of the smoothies and the juice that you're making, and you can even put some real subtle text on there on top of your image that indicates that there is something for sale without being too salesy, right?
So let me ask you about that then, because if for example you want to drive people to an opt-in, that's what we all want to do, right? Get people on your list.
Yep.
So what's the best way of getting somebody on your list if you have special opt-in opportunities, right? So you've only got one link you can post, right?
Absolutely. Well, the first thing that's cool about the one link is that you can change it. So you can update your link. If you have a special promotion, let's say you're doing a really big webinar or some kind of an event, or you have a new opt-in offer that you're promoting, you can change that link.
Okay.
And it's really important, if you want people, back to telling people what to do, it's really important in your description that if you want them to go to your profile link and click on it, you should tell them that in the description. So, for more information or to get this recipe, click the link in my bio, and just write that in the description of your picture.
Okay.
If you really have more than one opt-in offer, and you want to talk about a different offer, but you don't want to change the main one in your profile, I would recommend using a shortened link like bit.ly, and then people can type it, and it's much easier for them to remember.
Okay.
Because you can't click on the link in the description and go straight through.
Oh, you can't. So it has to be, you have to type it into your desktop or your mobile device.
Exactly. So you have to make that link really short and really easy to remember. So I use bit.ly for that. The other thing is that, I'm a big sort of numbers person and tracking what I do and seeing
Right.
what kind of results I'm getting from things. And I always have a social media dashboard set up on Google Analytics so I can see what kind of conversion rates I'm getting. And one thing that's really cool about Instagram is that I'm getting much higher conversion rates. I get like 13% of the people that click through to my website will opt in for my
No
program,
kidding.
which is pretty high for social media.
Very high for social media.
For
That's
that
great.
kind of traffic. So it shows that it's really targeted traffic. And if people make the extra effort to go from Instagram to your website, it's because they really want to, right? They're really interested in your stuff. And
So
when
what
I
are
was
you offering people for an opt-in then to get them to the next step? What kind of things do you offer on your Instagram post? Understand what I'm asking?
Yeah, so it's the same kind of opt-in offers that you would have on your website or any other social media. So my particular Spark Your Profits count that you just showed it's a free webinar program, a weekly webinar program for experts. So I say get access to this free program by clicking the link in my bio. But I also have an Instagram tips sheet. So just a very simple, top 3 things that you need to do to have success on Instagram. And I create a little bit.ly link, and I put that in a post that's specific about Instagram. So I might share an Instagram tip, something valuable and interesting in the image itself. So back to how do I promote without being too promotional, right? So I would give a tip, Instagram tip, and I would say, you can use up to, don't post more than 3 or 4 times a day. I might make that my tip. And then in the description right underneath, I'll say for more great Instagram tips, go to bit.ly/Instagram tips or whatever I put for my shortened link. Or I can, if I'm really promoting that heavily, I would switch out the bio link and I would say go to my bio for this link.
So this is a little weird that we both got our phones in our hands and we're doing a webinar with our phones in our hands, right?
I know. It's funny.
But let me show you again real quickly. While we're doing this, Tim Maudlin sent me a direct message with his T-shirt design here. And so it's just a message
Nice.
from him says, there's my latest T-shirt design. So,
Awesome.
he just tested what you were talking about.
Cool. I love
and it worked. I got the message down the bottom, a little pop-up thing that came up and said, got one message, and there you go.
Yeah, that's great. Well, one thing to know, though, if you're getting on Instagram and you're looking to track your results, is that the link, if somebody clicks on that link in your profile, what happens is it goes into your browser. So if you're on your iPhone, it's going to open up Safari to get to that link. So if you look in your Google Analytics for people that are tracking the results that they're getting, you won't see Instagram showing up as the referring site. It looks like direct traffic. It looks like somebody just clicked on your website link directly.
Right.
So
Google actually does that a lot with some of the others. The Google Analytics program actually does a lot of direct traffic because they strip the original source from it. So weird.
Exactly. So what you can do, and like I said, I'm kind of a big person on tracking your results so that don't waste your time doing things that aren't helping
And everybody should be.
Yeah.
That's really good.
What I recommend doing is setting up a special link. So I have a bit.ly link in my profile that goes to
/Spark Your Profits.
Yep, exactly. It still looks clean and nice and easy to remember and not spammy. You don't want one of those, links that looks scary, like you're going to get a virus on your phone if you click on it, right? But it looks nice and clean, and actually, if I don't want to get too technical here, but for those that are familiar with creating a campaign link in Google, like a UTM link where you can say the campaign is an email and you can put labels on it to track it.
Right.
I actually have my bit.ly link is one of those really long Google tracking links. So I can go into my Google Analytics and I can see under campaigns exactly how many people came to my website from clicking on this link, and I have my goals set up so I can see exactly how many people signed up for my program.
Yeah, we'll talk about analytics at some other time. That's an awesome tool as well. But
don't worry if you're not familiar with that. I don't want to scare anybody. But if you just use bit.ly, you can count how many people clicked on it. Bit.ly will tell you, or any of those link shortener tools, you'll be able to see how many clicks you got. and that will be a good start for your analytics, just to know that people are clicking on it.
Okay,
And
so
what's interesting is, just want to mention one thing, because it's hard to track, people don't know that they're getting good results. So this e-commerce company that I've been working with started surveying their customers after they made a purchase. How did you hear about us? And they're very active on all social media, and Instagram was the #1 source of purchases for their
wow,
for their guitar straps.
pretty
That was
cool.
how people heard about them. And like I said, if people make the effort to move from Instagram to your website, it's very targeted traffic, and that's why I think those opt-in rates are pretty high for a social media platform.
So I'm looking at what you've done with your webinar series, and I clicked on one of yours from Cat Stearns here. This is, let me show you this so
Yep.
people will see it. This is one of your images from Cat Stearns,
Yep.
or from your webinar series for a woman in Cat Stearns about Twitter 101, how to use Twitter. And what I noticed in this was that you did a really nice job. I'm trying to get this in the spot where you can see it. Really nice job of describing exactly what it was with the hashtags and with the links, or with the accessibility to this thing. And it's great advertisement. You had 103 likes on that. That's great.
And what's another tip is that if you have a photo with somebody else in it, or a photo that you think would be really interesting to somebody else that you know, you can tag them the same way you tag people on Facebook when you're posting your picture. So when I tag my speaker, Cat Stearns, her people that are following her account will see this picture too, because if anybody that looks at her account, she'll show up as tagged there. And the other things, when we talked about call to action, I put in the same description, I said, double tap if you like great free programs, and please tag 3 people you know who would like this. So again, the more calls to action, it seems kind of funny that you have to specifically tell people what to do, but it works. You get more likes, and you get more, and in Instagram, this is another kind of a limitation, but you can use it to your advantage. It's not easy to share. So in Facebook, you can just click on somebody else's, post and hit share and share it on your page, or in Twitter, you just retweet. So you can't do that within Instagram, although you can use some other apps. There's a repost app that you can use that's pretty easy to use to repost someone else's content.
Yep.
But Instagram is, I just want to say, you can do that a little bit, and it's nice to repost somebody's content that you think is really interesting and relevant for your audience. But Instagram, you want most of your content to be your own original content. A few reposts here and there, and you can't repost it within Instagram. You have to use another app, and you should never repost somebody's pictures and content from Instagram unless you tag them with their username. So the @ sign with their username. So you want to say, repost and put their name to let them know you're doing it, because it's just like anything else. These are there's copyright rules and laws, so you can't just take someone else's content and copy their pictures and then put it on your account. But you can repost. On the iPhone, that app is called Repost, but there's one for Android too. So I can just easily go in and find a picture that I've liked, or something from my feed, and I can automatically hit repost, and it will put that person's username and their image, and it will actually, like I said before, you can't do it from another app. It actually opens up my Instagram app. I'll try to show it so you can see it happen. So it actually will close this.
Put their name at the bottom.
It'll put their name on it, and then I have to open in Instagram. I have to click a button here, and then it'll open up my Instagram, and then I can just click next, and I can add my description there. And then it shows here, repost, and it has their username. And so that's the legal and polite and appropriate way to share somebody else's content on Instagram. But you want most of your content to be your own. That's why people follow you on Instagram. It's more about high quality content and your own content. And I like to use Canva.
We got like 2 minutes left, so this has been awesome. So Tell us what you really think we should know about Instagram and how to get this thing moving with Instagram.
Well, I just would recommend go ahead and grab set up your account. Don't be afraid. Don't be intimidated if you haven't used it before. The best way to learn it, because I used to think it was just, like I said, teenagers and selfies and not a great marketing tool. But it's really easy to get started just by learning. So set up your account. I gave you some tips about how to set up your profile. Make sure your bio link goes to wherever you want people to go. If you don't have a website, don't even worry. You can put your Facebook page as your bio link if you want. Wherever you want them to go. I generally recommend sending them to to a page that has an opt-in or some way to capture them. But if you don't have it, don't worry. Follow, maybe 10 different accounts and start interacting and look at what hashtags they're using. And look at what kind of content people are commenting on a lot and which kind of content people are liking a lot. And then that will give you good ideas about what your audience is going to like. So if you're following your competitors and seeing which are the pictures that are getting the most engagement, the most likes, the most comments, that will help you figure out what kind of content to put up there. And don't be afraid, because you can always... everybody starts out with a few pictures and you're just experimenting with it. You can delete them later if you don't want them. So I would say, follow 10 accounts that are in your niche and try to set up your account. Try to go ahead and post 5 or 10 pictures and a nice bio description, and then just start interacting with people. And one more tip is to put your hashtags. You can put them in the comments instead of in your description. And that way it doesn't take up all the space in your description area, so you can just add your hashtags later in the comments. But the best way is just to go ahead and try it out and share your stuff to Facebook, connect it to your Facebook account, and people will start to follow you. And one more quick tip, I'm sorry I keep
That's all right.
You can embed your images from Instagram directly into your blog, and it looks beautiful. So if you're on the desktop, you can actually view Instagram accounts on your desktop. You just can't post the pictures. And you can comment, you can interact on the desktop. You just can't post your new content there. If you click on a picture on the desktop, just like you'd click on the Facebook picture, on the bottom right you'll see 3 dots, and if you click on that it says embed, and you get that embed code. If you paste that into your blog, you'll get a beautiful Instagram image that people can like and comment and go right to your Instagram account right from your blog. So
this is great stuff.
Really nice, yeah.
This is really good. So now people can sign up for your tip sheet and stuff at bit.ly.com/sparkyourprofits. Is that right?
Well, Spark Your Profits is my main program, so that's my weekly expert interview series, and it's all about marketing and different kinds of marketing tips. And if you go into my Spark Your Profits Instagram account, I do have a free tip sheet on, it's bit.ly/IG3grow. But you can find me at Spark Your Profits, and if you want, David, I'll send you a link later.
That'd be good. In fact, I'm going to post this video in the Insiders group, and if you would, just add the link down there at the bottom of that as well, okay?
Okay, great, yeah.
All right, so...
And I'm in the Insiders Club, so, just poke me on the Facebook group, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Sarah. This was really good. You really gave us a lot of great information in a short amount of time.
It was probably like information overload, but hopefully you guys got excited about Instagram like I am.
Yeah, John says it was super helpful, and Tim said thanks a lot. So there's some people on here who really enjoyed this, and it was good information. So I appreciate it, and as always, it's helpful. So just a reminder, we're going to have another Q&A on Friday. And I'll let you know who's going to be involved in that one. It might just be me. We'll find out. And then we will have we've got our weekly live training with Brian Basilico on Wednesday at 2:30, and we're going to talk about social media there as well. So this is social media week, it seems like. So
all right, a good week.
Yeah, it is good week. All right, so thank you very much for being here, guys, and we will talk to you soon. Adios.
Thanks very much.